Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to go through this case scenario with you guys. I had a lot of fun creating this case scenario. It was really hard to do from a logistics side of things and coming up with all the different branches. But I really wanted to be intentional about creating this for you guys. So I want to go through it with you because some of you expressed a lot of hesitancy and fear and concern that you didn't get the right answers, kind of thing. And this is a learning experience. And so I want you guys to kind of learn a little bit from it as well. So, to kind of start from the beginning, you are working with someone, you're doing individual counseling with them for about 3 weeks, and she's been wanting to work with you on her anxiety. And then during the third session, you notice that she's unable to focus during the session. You come to your appointment. At the next appointment, she's acting very strange. She can't seem to sit still, like maybe she's like tapping a lot or wiggling her foot or something. And she looks like she hasn't slept in 2 days. And her thoughts are all over the place. So again, you're picking up on a lot of these nonverbal communication, right? So maybe she isn't making a lot of eye contact. Maybe she's very jittery. Maybe you notice bags under her eyes. She's really tired, or maybe she says that she hasn't slept because of her anxiety. And then she says to you, I feel so anxious all the time. I feel like I'm constantly looking over my shoulder and worried about what's going to happen. So your answer choices for that, you remind her that these sessions are for her, and if she can't concentrate, then she'll be missing out on help and resources. That's not very helpful in the moment for her, right? So another option was you attempt to redirect her by reminding some of her takeaways from the last session. And has she been using any of the techniques regarding anxiety that you guys came up with, kind of thing? That's a good option, but it may not be the best option. So the best option for this one was you ask Jess if she wants to talk about what's troubling her. This is, again, for this case scenario, I created this because I want you to meet the client where they're at, right? That's a big important part of social work, is meeting them where they're at. Another thing that came to my mind for this case scenario was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if a client is not feeling a sense of safety, a sense of security, then they cannot go forward and progress in a therapeutic session. So that's one thing to kind of think about. So, but let's say you hit number two, wanting to remind her about some of the techniques that you guys have been working with regarding anxiety. I'm sorry, I just can't seem to concentrate. Again, you want to meet her where she's at. So you ask her, okay, is there something you want to talk about? Is there something recent that happened since the last session? Maybe something recent happened since the last session that's causing her some of this anxiety. Again, you're noticing from some of those nonverbals that something is different, right? So asking her if there's something that she wants to talk about, or reminding her again that she's going to be missing out on help if she can't stay focused. Again, that's not very helpful in this situation. So let's say you ask her if there's something that she wants to talk about. She tells you in confidence that she thinks her ex-boyfriend is following her. So at this point, red flags should be going off in your head. She describes seeing him in various places around campus, but he does not attend the same college that she does. Okay. Again, I don't want to make us all, unbelievably paranoid for every single situation. But this should be a red flag for you. She's incredibly anxious. She can't concentrate. Looks like she hasn't slept. She's telling you she thinks he's following me. There's probably nothing to worry about. My anxiety must be acting up as usual. You trust Jess to know herself best. You recommend that she focus on her anxiety for now. Absolutely, you want to trust the clients, but in cases of Intimate partner violence, we always want to make sure safety is a large priority. And so I would recommend probing a little bit more about the situation with the ex-boyfriend and really kind of screening a little bit more to see where she is in terms of safety. So for the purposes of this video, let's go ahead and say that you hit number 2. You go ahead and ask her more information about what's going on. So she says, I've been receiving hang-up calls in the middle of the night. Plus, the night before, my ex-boyfriend's car was parked outside the bar when I went with friends. The whole thing is making me feel kind of creepy. Again, it may be a coincidence that it was the same car, right? But it may not, especially if she's seen him multiple different places, especially if she's having this kind of anxiety. So your choices here, you feel you need some more information about this relationship. You ask her if she can tell you more about the breakup or their relationship. You focus on the word creepy. What does that mean to her? Why does this behavior seem creepy? Maybe there's something to explore there regarding her anxiety. And then the third option is you question whether she's feeling judged because of going out late at nights with friends. That's why she's focusing on her ex-boyfriend. You remind her that there's nothing to be ashamed of now, that she's broken up. She can go wherever she pleases. Again, that's not meeting her where she's at. If she's experiencing anxiety and she's telling you she's experiencing anxiety and you're telling her, you don't need to worry about it. You're broken up. You can go wherever you'd like. That's not meeting her where she's at in the moment. The focusing on the word creepy is focusing on the wrong aspect of this situation. It's making me feel kind of creepy. Okay. Again, you would dive into something that's not really at the heart of the safety issue. So the situation for this one, you would need to ask more information and really probe her to tell you some more information about what's going on. So she says, this is in confidence, right? I broke up with my ex because he was so jealous. He was always blowing up at me for the tiniest mistakes, but he never actually hit me, so I wouldn't call it abuse. So again, red flags should be going off in your head. Jealousy is a large predictor of IPV. Always blowing up at me for the tiniest mistakes. I might want her to clarify what she meant by blowing up. What does that mean? Does that mean verbal screaming at her? Does that mean throwing things across the house? What does that mean? But regardless, it does sound like, emotional abuse, absolutely. So you let her know that what she's describing is abuse because her partner emotionally intimidated her. You tell her that it sounds like she has good reason to feel nervous. Again, so you're validating her feelings of nervousness. You tell her that you think a safety plan might help her feel more in control of the situation and might help with her anxiety as well. The second option is you correct her and tell her that she is describing abuse. You ask her why she stayed with him for so long, as she's now in a dangerous situation. You tell her she needs to make a safety plan right now to keep herself safe. And then the third option is you agree. Abuse often, abuse involves physical violence, and it looks like she resolved the issue with his temper by breaking up with him. You gently steer the conversation back to her anxiety, which seems to be causing a lot of issues with recovery from the breakup. And that's not the good option because it's minimizing the emotional abuse and it's completely in denial about the potential stalking that she has going on now. So the second option is you tell her that she's correct and that she is describing abuse, but then you blame her for staying in the relationship for so long and then now being in a dangerous situation. So number 2 is technically you are correct that she's describing abuse. But then if you go around and blame her for staying and then being in this dangerous situation now, that's blaming the victim. So the correct answer here is, again, explaining that it is abuse. and telling her that she has a good reason to feel nervous. So you're validating her feelings of nervousness and anxiety. And then you're talking about a safety plan to help keep her safe. So you keep her in your office and conduct a full safety plan with her. The plan takes 2 hours, but she feels much safer and less anxious knowing all of her options regarding safety. I felt like I was just being overly anxious, but now I will take a different route every day. I'll leave a bag of clothes at a friend's house. I'll make a stalking report. She has a plan. She feels more confident, and hopefully less anxious, um, and she can go forward. So let's try this again, and let me hit a couple of bad options and then kind of talk you through some of the responses for bad options. So again, you're doing individual counseling with Jess. You're in your 3rd week. She's unable to focus during the session. Her thoughts are all over the place. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. Okay, so let's say that you select number 2. You try and redirect from the last session any anxiety techniques. I'm sorry, I just can't seem to concentrate. Let's say again, let's try and go back on the resources and the help we've already done, and you go to that one. So you continue on with your appointment. And this is her next appointment, and you follow up with a phone call. A male voice answers her phone and says Jess is not available to talk and asks, "Who are you?" So in this situation, obviously for confidentiality purposes, there's a couple of different reasons that number 3, the funniest one, is actually the correct answer. You do not want to reveal yourself as a counselor that Jess has been seeing. And let's say you want to say you're a friend from school, right? That's a lot of times an option that some people think might be a good idea. In instances with intimate partner violence, again, we see that jealousy. And so that's the problem with that one is the partner, abusive partner, may then think that they are a friend who they need to know. So Jess comes to the next appointment. You ask her how she's doing, who answered her phone. She said her ex-boyfriend cornered her at her apartment and wanted to talk. She said she's grateful you pretended to be a friend. However, now he's suspicious of all of her friends. So you added a little bit more of a layer of complexity to the situation. So again, definitely would just, I'm calling about your car's extended warranty kind of thing. And then you don't even have that kind of problem. Again, she says, I really think my ex-boyfriend is following me. He's trying so hard to get in touch with me, even shows up at work. Do you think I'm overthinking this? So, again, there's 2 options. You let her know she has good reason to feel that way. A safety plan might be a good next step just in case. It might help with the anxiety as well. Again, you're meeting her where she's at and trying to address some of the safety concerns as well. You privately believe that a safety plan will be good, but she does not seem ready to address the issue. You want Jess to feel ready and empowered. So you tell her that you're not sure, but that you're happy to help her however you can. She misses her next appointment. Her phone goes straight to voicemail. You wonder how she's doing, but you can't seem to get in contact with her again. So going back again, you don't want to miss right here the opportunity to be able to safety plan with a client when they're potentially in danger. So I tried to make it kind of a little ambiguous for you guys a couple of times, so you weren't sure which one. I didn't want it to be very cut and dry. There was a right way and a wrong way, because you wouldn't learn from that. So I would encourage you to try and go through again and see what you can see, and see if you can think about things from a different perspective each time. I know this was challenging for some of you guys. There's no grade for this. You don't get 100 for getting them all right. But it definitely is a good learning opportunity and a good learning experience. And I hope you guys all enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to create for you guys. So, as always, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. Thank you guys so much.